What's up, Falcons Nation? It's your boy Jew coming at you with another Atlanta Falcons video. As always, Falcons Nation, rise up. In today's video, I want to recap Sunday's game between our Atlanta Falcons and the San Francisco 49ers. But if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell so you know when I've done Atlanta Falcons content. Hit that like button for your boy. I do appreciate each and every one of you guys for continuing to tune into the channel, continue to share out my content on all the social media platforms. If you would like to follow your boy on Twitter and Instagram, you can follow me at Jew Talk Sports. If you would like to donate to my channel, you can donate to my Cash App, which is the $ Jew Talk Sports. But with that being said, let's jump right into the video. So like I stated, I do want to recap Sunday's game between our Atlanta Falcons and the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers did win this game by a score of 31-13. And it was a couple positives and negatives that I want to talk about in this game. But first off, our Atlanta Falcons now fall to 6-8 on the season with 3 games remaining. And we definitely will have to try to run the table if we want to have any shot at the playoffs. Losing this game on Sunday to the San Francisco 49ers really dimmed our playoff chances. We're really going to need some help from other teams to get into the playoffs. At this point, we just have to do our part and win out and run the table and go 9-8. If we go 9-8 by the end of this season, we possibly could still make the playoffs, but we'll need some help from some other teams due to us losing a lot of the tiebreakers. But with that being said, the first negative that I want to talk about in this game, the thing that stood out to me in this game, is the Falcons didn't capitalize on their opportunities. We got the opening kickoff, caused the fumble. Quadri Olsen caused the fumble on the 49ers. We get the ball in the red zone, four straight plays, and we didn't get to punch the ball into the end zone. I know the play with Cordell Patterson on the first down play where it looked like he ran the ball and he scored. They reversed that call. But unfortunately, you still have to capitalize on that opportunity as the Atlanta Falcons and get points in that situation. Even though they didn't give us that touchdown, when it clearly looked like Cordell Patterson had scored, he crossed the goal line. They called it a touchdown on the field. And the NFL rules state that it has to be undisputable evidence that his knees were down prior to crossing the goal line. From all of the replays that I saw on TV, I didn't see any replays where they showed that his knees were down before he crossed the goal line. So the play should have stood. They should have allowed us to keep that touchdown. But hindsight's always 20/20. At the end of the day, we had 3 more cracks at scoring a touchdown, and we didn't punch the ball in the end zone. So that was a play early in the game where we didn't capitalize off a turnover that was caused by Quadri Olsen, which is a Falcons issue. We have to improve on capitalizing. When you get a short field and when you steal a possession from the other team, you have to capitalize on those opportunities and score that touchdown. Also in this game, in the red zone area, we didn't score touchdowns but one time. We got into the red zone 5 times. We only punched the ball into the end zone 1 time. So we were 1 of 5 inside the 20-yard line of the 49ers, which has to improve throughout the rest of this season. If we want to win the rest of these games. The second thing that stood out in this game, and I've talked about it, in our post-game show, is the trenches. The Falcons have to get better on the offensive line. Matt Ryan has been getting abused the last 5 seasons. I'll say the last 4 to 5 seasons. He's been getting abused, being sacked over 40 times, 35 to 40 times a season. This year, he's one of the highest quarterback under pressure. Pretty much our offensive line is giving up pressures. If you go look up the stats, I believe the stat says that we gave up 64% of the time that Matt Ryan dropped back to pass on Sunday. He was under pressure, which is ridiculous. We have to be better on the offensive line. If you want to win in the NFL, you have to be good in the trenches. You have to be good on the offensive line and defensive line. I don't care about, the weapons on the outside, the wide receivers, the tight ends, the running backs. At the end of the day, everything starts up front in the trenches. If you're getting dominated in the trenches, it doesn't matter if you have Julio Jones. It doesn't matter if you have Calvin Ridley. Doesn't matter if Matt Ryan doesn't have time to look down the field, survey the field, and deliver an accurate pass. And we've seen that last year when we went 4-12. We had Julio Jones. We had Calvin Ridley early in the season. And last season, we started off 0-5. We were putting up a lot of points, but the offensive line was still giving up a lot of pressure even last year. We couldn't run the ball with Todd Gurley last year. Dirk Cutter was throwing the ball all over the place. But at the end of the day, Matt Ryan still was under immense pressure last year. We had more explosive plays due to having, Julio Jones, having Calvin Ridley, having Hayden Hurst, Russell Gage. We had a lot of explosive plays, more explosive plays last year. But we still were 0-5 because we weren't physical enough in the trenches. And even when Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley were here, we still had troubles in the red zone. If you go look at the stats, the Falcons have struggled to score in the red zone. The last 5 years, we've been one of the worst teams in third down efficiency and scoring touchdowns in the red zone. We've been one of the worst teams. And that's something that I thought with bringing in Arthur Smith, who was one of the best when he was with the Tennessee Titans at punching the ball in the end zone. That could be partially due to him having Derrick Henry, but also the Titans are just a physical football team up front on their offensive line. So we have to improve the offensive line play. On Sunday, we were dominated by the 49ers. Arden Key, the defensive tackle for them, was demolishing our offensive line, demolishing Jalen Mayfield and Matt Hennessy up front. They were dominating. Nick Bosa had a strip sack fumble where he literally just ragdolled Caleb McGarry, threw him to the ground, and then went after Matt Ryan and caused a strip sack fumble. So that's something that we have to improve upon, not just the offensive line, because the offensive line played terrible on Sunday, but also the defensive line has to improve as well. The Falcons have to go out in this draft and bring in an impact player on the edge, whether you're going in and bringing somebody in free agency or whether you're bringing in somebody in this draft. We need us a Nick Bosa. We need us a Khalil Mack. We need us one of those guys that can get those splash plays, one of those guys that the other team has to game plan for. Right now on our defensive line, Grady Jarrett pretty much is the only guy that teams have to game plan for. So we definitely need to go out and get that impact player. You guys know that I love Dante Fowler, but he's not a top pass rusher in the game. Dante Fowler is a guy who feeds off of having great talent around him. He's a guy who can get you 10 sacks in a season, but he needs those big guys in the middle that can get pressure up the center of the defense in the teeth where he gets one-on-one matchups. This year, Dante Fowler has had injuries and things of that nature. He does have 4.5 sacks on the season and leads our Falcons, but we need another guy on the other side opposite of Dante Fowler that can consistently get pressure, like a Nick Bosa, like I said, like a Khalil Mack, somebody like an Aaron Donald who causes pressure consistently. Grady Jarrett has been that guy who's caused pressure, but he's mainly playing the defensive tackle position. They've tried to use him kind of at the defensive end position and move him around this year, which I think was a good idea by Dean Pease. But at the end of the day, it's still not good enough. We need more splash players, more players that are impactful on our defensive line. We see it week in and week out. When we play teams that have elite defensive lines, our offensive line struggle. When we play teams that has elite offensive lines, our defense struggle. When we play against coaches that know how to scheme, use their running game to scheme against our defensive line. And in this game, Kyle Shanahan pretty much out-schemed Dean Pease, and their players were just better than our players, pound for pound. At the end of the day, their guys were better than our guys on Sunday, and we got our tails whipped on both sides of the ball in the trenches. So that's something that has to improve. If this Falcons team want to win a Super Bowl, if they want to be a consistent contender in the NFL and the NFC, we have to improve the defensive line play and the offensive line play. That's paramount. So in this draft coming up, the first priority, before you even go out and get a wide receiver, the first priority will be go get a defensive player that can be a splash player on the defensive line and go bring in offensive linemen. I definitely think that these guys that we have, like Jalen Mayfield, Matt Hennessy, these guys are young players, so they need time to gel. They need an off season where they can get on a nutrition plan, where they can get bigger, stronger, can get in the weight room and get used to the strength of these players in the NFL, get used to being a professional, because college and NFL strength and technique and things of that nature is totally different. So I'm not saying that guys like Jalen Mayfield and Matt Hennessy are bust, I think they just need time. So I think this season has been great for these guys getting that experience. And then this season also, I feel like this Falcons team has overachieved with winning 6 games. A lot of people didn't see this team based off of our roster, based off of the salary cap. We weren't able to bring in, any splash type signings. We brought in a lot of veterans on 1-year deals. I think Arthur Smith has done a great job. Him and Terry Fontenot, they've done a great job with the tools that they have and the players that they have. But on Sunday, we've seen, even with, the guys that we have and with us overachieving this year, it still hasn't been good enough as far as beating those elite teams. And then the last thing that I want to talk about in the video that I noticed in this game that was a positive and that was a bright spot was Russell Gage. Russell Gage really had a breakout game. I was really proud of the way that Russell Gage played in this game. Him and Matt Ryan had a great connection. Matt Ryan was throwing up 50-50 balls. Russell Gage went up and made a ton of plays on third down, made a tough touchdown catch over one of the corners for the 49ers where he elevated, and he did a great job of snatching the ball away. And I definitely think that Russell Gage, based off of the last couple games of this season, where he's had over 100 yards receiving, I definitely think that he's a guy that the Falcons need to think about re-signing. I don't think that it's going to cost a whole lot to keep a guy like Russell Gage around to re-sign him, but he has shown me that he plays with great intensity. He has great heart. He was going across the middle, taking big hits, and he's been the guy on third down who's great in the slot, and he's also been great at running routes. His route running ability is really, really good. All he's done every single year was continue to improve. When we drafted him out of LSU, he was a guy mainly that only played special teams when he originally was drafted by the Falcons. And he was a guy that developed his skills and became a starter. So for guys like Frank Darby, that's on our roster right now, that's mainly playing special teams, Russell Gage is one of those guys that he needs to get up under Russell Gage's wing. And Russell Gage, I really feel like, can be a player that can mentor a guy like Frank Darby, because I do think that Frank Darby is a wide receiver that has talent, but he just has raw talent. And Russell Gage is one of those guys who came in with raw talent, plays special teams mainly, but he worked at his craft, and now he's one of the better wide receivers on our team. So at the end of the day, I definitely think that Russell Gage should be one of those guys the Falcons think about re-signing after this year. He has proven that he's a big playmaker. When it's time to make a play, he's been the guy that's going across the middle. He's been the guy that's jumping over people, snatching the ball away, mossing on guys. So I definitely think that I base everything off of your play and off the field. He hasn't had any off the field issues, and he's been a guy where his trajectory has been going up. Every single year he's improved, got better as a route runner, got better with his hands. Early in his career, he was known for dropping passes and things of that nature, but he's improved a lot upon that this year. And with all of the pressure being on his shoulders, it seems like he's embraced the pressure, and he's done a great job of being a safety valve for a guy like Matt Ryan throwing the ball down the field. But with that being said, this been your boy Jew. I'll holler at you guys in the next video. As always, Falcons Nation, rise up. Peace. And if you haven't already hit that subscribe button, please hit that subscribe button for your boy. We're on the road to 2,000 subscribers. Also go over to Atlanta Falcons Nation as well and hit that subscribe button. Is there for us as well. I believe we're about 50 subscribers away on Atlanta Falcons Nation from 2,000. But help your boy over here at Jew Talk Sports also hit that 2,000 mark. But I appreciate you guys. As always, Falcons Nation, rise up. Peace.